From the mountains of Angola, water is contributing to the Zambezi River, feeds the Okavango River, and forms the Kwando River. Over a considerable distance, the Kwando River forms the border between Angola and Zambia, then crosses the Caprivi Strip of Namibia and forms the border between Namibia and Botswana. It also changes its name into Linyanti. Then the Linyanti River fans out and forms a large floodplain. At the edge of the Linyanti floodplains, the river emerges initially as a small stream. Most of the water moves underground. It is no longer navigable. The water moves slowly to the northeast, and the stream changes its name into Chobe River. It continues to act as the border between Botswana and Namibia, but it also forms, on the Botswana side, the northern boundary of the Chobe National Park. The Chobe National Park consists largely of sandy soil. Water is seeping away quickly, with only a few water holes formed on pockets of clayish soil are able to retain some water. The water holes dry up in the dry season. It is therefore not surprising that large numbers of animals and birds flocking to the Chobe River is the only viable source of drinking water. For crocodiles and many fish-eating birds, the Chobe River is also the source of food. For all creatures, the Chobe River is the source of life. Well-used tracks combined with a typical Kalahari scent, making driving sometimes tricky and definitely require a 4x4 vehicle with high ground clearance. Apart from browsers such as elephants, giraffe and kudu, animals do not move too far into the dense forest areas. Most birds prefer the open plains adjacent to the Chobe River, as it provides enough food for them, either at the edge of the water or inside the water. The dense forest areas make it also difficult to spot approaching predators. The name blacksmith emanates from the high-frequency click sound this lapwing makes. It sounds like hitting an anvil with a hammer. It prefers shorelines of pans and dams as well as grassy wetlands. The ground lapwing is a common resident in southern Africa. It prefers short, dry grasslands, burnt veld, and lightly wooded savanna. When not breeding, they are quite gregarious, forming flocks of up to 40 birds. The white-crowned lapwing occurs in Botswana only along the Chobe River. It is a shy and wary bird. It prefers mud and sandbanks on large rivers, usually singly or in pairs. Brightfield's hornbill prefers woodland on Kalahari sand. and Mopane woodland savanna. The red-billed hornbill prefers savanna and Mopane woodlands. In southern Africa, the lilac-breasted roller is absent from the extreme south and west. The carmine bee-eater is an intra-African migrant. It prefers river valleys with vertical banks into which it makes its nest. The fork-tailed drongo avoids forest interiors, but occurs in all other places. The Namakwa dove prefers dry bushveld, arid scrub, semi-desert, riverine bush and desert. The double-banded sand grouse prefers savanna, dry bushveld, Mopane woodlands, stony and eroded areas. The female is marked less colorful than the male, only being barred above and below, including the breast. The red-billed francolin prefers dry scrub thickets, edges of Kalahari woodland and riverine thornbush near water. The spotted thick knee occurs throughout southern Africa. It prefers open grasslands near trees and bushes, savanna, agricultural land, and wide marine beaches. The helmeted guinea fowl prefers open grassland, savanna, cultivated lands, bushveld, and the edge of Karoo scrub. The Kori bustard prefers the open plains of the Karoo, grassland, Kalahari sandveld, arid scrub, Namib desert, lightly wooded savanna and bushveld. The African jacana prefers lagoons, lakes, pans, river backwaters with fringing vegetation, water lilies, and other water plants. The spur-winged goose is highly gregarious and flocks of up to 2,000 birds have been observed. Males can weigh up to 10 kilograms. It prefers larger inland waters, floodplains, pans, dams, sewage ponds. The Egyptian goose is highly gregarious when not breeding, otherwise in pairs. It prefers inland waters, rivers, dams, floodplains, pans, marshes, also estuaries and coastal lakes. The African spoonbill prefers shallow inland waters and occasionally lagoons and estuaries. It forages by wading slowly, bill partly or wholly submerged and sweeping from side to side. The open-billed stork prefers larger inland waters, marshes, swamps, floodplains, river shallows, pools and lakes. It feeds on snails and mussels. Its beak is perfectly shaped for opening the housing of snails and mussels. The glossy ibis occurs almost worldwide. In southern Africa it is absent from the dry west. It prefers shallow inland waters and neighboring wet grasslands. The saddle-billed stork can be up to 145 centimeters tall, and its wingspan can be as much as 2.7 meters. It prefers larger inland waters, rivers, dams, pans, swamps, floodplains, and river shallows. The great white egret can be up to 95 centimeters tall. In southern Africa it is absent from the dry areas of the west and the interior. It prefers shores of inland waters. It feeds on small fish, frogs, insects and small mammals. The little egret occurs in Africa south of the Sahara, in southern Africa everywhere except in the dry west. It is smaller than the great white egret, measuring only 64 centimeters in length. It prefers inland estuaries with dense reed beds and other aquatic vegetation.